Hi there, thanks for joining me for another video. Well, that engine install really took it out of me in the last video. Certainly a little bit red-faced and totally unfit. Anyway, we got there in the end, so really pleased with that. So we got a few things to do in this video, although I am quite short of parts and the lead time from AK is quite long at the moment, but I'm sure they're going to sort something out for me. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be installing the power steering pipes, which is quite a job in itself, and I'll show you what else I've been looking at. Alright, so the first thing that I've done is just tidy up the ends of the brake and clutch lines here. So I've just bent them up roughly in the right position, because obviously the inner wing comes across roughly here and then curves in here, and then we'll be able to attach these to the inner wing much more easily than drilling into the metal, etc., with a few P-clips. So that should be all about roughly the right lengths, and of course it's all very flexible and easy to bend and move around anyway. Next thing we got to do, we got to rotate this inlet here by 180 degrees so that it faces the other way. So let's get on with that. Alright, so after rotating, we would have had this little air hole, bleed hole, whatever, down the bottom, which I don't think is in the right place. So I've just pulled it out and rotated it round inside its a rubber grommet housing thing, just to put it back up in the same orientation that it was previously, i.e. nearer the top. There's also further talk that you know, the engine can get quite hot quite quickly, and to perhaps drill a 4mm hole through here. This allows some fluid to go through even when the thermostat isn't open, to help with, I think, overheating. It allows some hot water to circulate through. It might open the thermostat a bit sooner. I'm not sure on all that. You have to take some advice. I'm certainly not going to put a hole in it yet. And of course there are other thermostats that open and close at a lower temperature, so you might want to look into that if you do have an overheating problem. So we're going to leave that as it is at the moment, and just put it all back in. And yeah, that hole is now at the top, so hopefully that'll help with any airlocks or bleeding type issues. You do get a bit of a problem here with the pipes coming from the radiator, and really I install a bleed valve in the heating pipes to allow some air out, and also once it gets up to temperature I sometimes have to massage the pipe to get some hot water through, get rid of the air bubbles and push them around a bit. Anyway, do what you can. Alright, going back to the dipstick briefly, I found in my spares I had some of these threaded tubes, these spacer type tubes, so I cut one to about 15mm or so, and cut a bit of stud, enough that would go all the way into the engine hole and leave a bit out so that I could easily get to it and get some pliers on it, etc., if it got stuck. So that went in enough, and then that now looks like this. So you can just see my spacer tube in there. Let's have a look underneath, and there you go. So it's just a little stand off there. I did have to bend the bracket somewhat just to give me some clearance so it wasn't rubbing against this spark plug assembly. So that's what you can do. I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, so we're going to finally address the power steering pipes now. Now these are pretty awkward. They come pre-made, so they're quite stiff and they don't bend very well. And the idea is that you need to get the end here up into here. So I don't think you can do this without taking the power steering pump out, which is 3 bolts. So I'll put you on time lapse and you can watch me do that. So I'm just going to undo the belt, and then we'll take all this out, and we'll be able to get a spanner onto it then and do it up tight. The other thing to think about, I think AK used to make this spigot here, if you like, which, to be honest, wasn't terrific and only gave you minimal clearance once it's up behind here from the belt, because the belt ends up running where this milled slot is. And I think they now get them from Anthony Hale at Crendon Replicas, which is and his unit, which I hope this is much better. So yeah, it's all pretty awkward. Honestly, designers really don't like mechanics, so I don't know how they made it or why they made it like that. But anyway, let's get cracking.
But when you're looking like that, and it makes my head stop, and I can't have it like that, so please don't come.
Rightio, I'll just give you a close-up of this fitting, just so you know what the tolerances are like. I didn't realise it's 4 bolts to undo as well, so that's interesting. So you can see here that there is just about a gap between the wheel and obviously the belt sits in between these sort of flanges, so it's going to miss this high spot here. So we're all good there, but it is a tight thing. So I'm just going to go and tighten all this up real tight, so I don't have to revisit this, and we'll crack on. Alright, so that's essentially the hard bit out of the way. Next, we just got to do up this bottom nut here, because you need to keep this bottom bracket away from the belt. So we're going to hold it in this kind of position and then do up the nut real tight. So that'll be fine, and then we can move on to the second bit of pipe. Okay, that's all done. That fairly took it out of me, but this is all firmly in place. And actually I forgot that the belt goes on the other side of this wheel, so I could have gone a little bit closer there or more directly out, but actually I think that bend is fairly nice and acceptable. And then I've just done this up tight. So now we've got this other bit of hose, which is a lot easier to work with because it simply goes to where you fill the power steering. So what I've got to do, I've got to cut this slightly shorter, but I want to keep this tube, you know, fairly following the direction of its of the other one. And then what I'm going to do is clamp them together, not necessarily with this clamp. I'm not sure if it's the correct dimension, it might be, but I keep them clamped together probably about there, just so it keeps it away from the chassis or any rub points, to keep Mr. IVA man happy. I think that'd be quite good. So I'm going to just carefully measure that, maybe give myself an inch or so of play, because I think it can be slid backwards and forwards a little bit. Just give me some flexibility, but obviously make sure it's not going to hit the fan or anything. All right, so I'll just mark that up and cut it out. Right, that's pretty much the end of the saga there of the power steering pump and all the hoses and everything else. So I think this is all quite good. I'm keeping it away from anything. It's not going to knock and vibrate against anything. However, I don't know, maybe it's a bit overkill, but I'm pretty interested in sticking this large P-clip just under here. So I think I'll just drill a tap and a quick hole, and this will be under here, and it'll just support those hoses, and I think that will be a better job. So that's it for power steering. Let's see what else we can have a look at. All right, so it's been a couple of weeks since that last clip. Still waiting for parts, and it's Christmas just around the corner. So for now, we're going to finish up on installing the oil pressure sender and water temperature sender. So I take a little bit of a different angle on this, so let me show you what I'm doing. All right then, so the oil pressure sender, if you buy Smith's gauges and you get them through AK, then they will supply you with an oil pressure sender, something like this, and a load of unions that screw into this. You take off this little black bit, and you have a whole load of unions up here, 3 or 4 different connections with a terminal on the top for the dash light, and the oil pressure senders then screws into the side. So that's all well and good. I think it's a little ugly. I think Crendon Replicas does a nicer unit that screws into here, and you still have the oil pressure sender going into the side. So that looks a little bit better. However, I'm doing something else. So down here on the side of the engine is a blanking plate here, and you can replace this at some cost, unfortunately, because I can only find a good unit from Summit Racing. Now, it's only about $30 or so, but by the time you've had it shipped, it ends up being about $70 odd. And what you get is basically this. And you can screw in the oil pressure sender into this. Now, the reason I get it from there and not a cheaper one, because they do them on Amazon. So this is actually the one from Summit. The reason I get it is because I've read some scare stories about some of these restricting the flow. So when you actually screw this into the back, then if this sticks through, it can restrict the flow. Now you can see the shape of this is quite a cutout, so it doesn't restrict the flow. Whereas this one on Amazon, I was nervous. I don't think it does in the end. It only sticks out, the thread only sticks out, you know, a few mil, and it's probably fine. And this was dead cheap, and maybe the way forward. But you know what? I've sent off for this now and got it, and it worked in the last car, and it's all good. So basically, I'm going to swap this out here, put this in, and then the oil pressure sender can screw into there. And sure, you then have to run a little wire. This one needs an earth, and then the other terminal goes off to the dash. Okay, that was a little bit more fun than I thought it was going to be, mainly because as soon as I had oil on my hands, I couldn't get my fingers to tighten these rounded off hex bolts, because unlike the originals, which had normal bolts, they swap them out for these Allen key bolts. Anyway, all good. So it came with a sort of rubber grommet, and I was hesitant whether to leave this gasket in, but I figured the original had it, so I left the gasket in as well. Anyway, so that's all tightened down, and no oil leaking as of yet. A little bit more difficult getting this unit in, so unlike the one that came with the Smith's gauges, which only sort of has one connection coming out the top, this has got two, so I did just have to just push down on these terminals here so that I could get a rotation in and start doing it up. But of course you could always install it first into this adapter and then install everything. So that's what I like to do. So that means running a wire up to the dash and just running another wire off to earth. So I'll probably just find somewhere on the engine, probably on here or something, to earth that nice and close. And that's what I like to do there. So hopefully that'll all work and it's nice and neat, and just saves having a whole stack of units up on the back of the engine here. I'm not sure if that would restrict any engine covers or anything, but it's also something that you'd have to cut around, because sometimes it's nice to have a kind of reflective or shiny metal plate here to hide everything down here, so when you look into the engine bay it all looks quite nice and neat, and you'd have to cut around it. But now I can just do a sheet straight over, I'm hoping, make an even nicer job. So that's all there. The other thing I've done is I've just done fluid in the gearbox, so that was near, I don't know, 2.5 litres, maybe 3. It was all dripping out, made a hell of a mess, so I know I've got to the right amount in there. And also checked the diff oil level as well, and that is all done, so I'm all good there. So all we're waiting for, really, the only thing I need before I can put the body on, really, I mean, obviously there's other things that are easier to work on with the body off, such as the header tank and washer bottle tank, which go on here, and definitely it is easier to do them with the body off. But really the only thing I need is the handbrake mount, ram mount, which goes on the back here. So that definitely needs to be fitted first for linking up to the handbrake units here. Literally that's all I need, so hopefully AK will send that through to me soon. Well, that's it for today then. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, because only about 20% of you are. Remember, the car's for sale if you'd like to get in touch and discuss any options. Other than that, I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll see you again.